Hi friends, it's Deanna here today, and today we're going to be working on the tote to go pattern.
I am super excited about this because I love carrying a big bag when I go to the beach or even when I go to the picnic or when I go anywhere really. So I'm super excited to sew this one up, so let's do it. Alright, so the really cool thing about this bag is that there's different pocket options. You have the option to have the zipper pocket, it's a smaller zipper pocket, and a bigger pouch-like pocket, or if you want to just do one or the other, or if you want to do neither, or you want to do both. It is up to you. Today I'm going to be doing both because I want to show you how to do them. So we're going to start with the zipper pocket. So the zipper pocket is the smaller one, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, I already did it on my pattern, on my piece. You're going to grab your pattern piece, you're going to put it over your one of your pieces of your pocket on the wrong side, and you're going to transfer those markings with a water soluble pen or something like that. So you'll transfer those markings, and then you're going to use some interfacing. I was trying to think of the word. What is that? Some interfacing, and you're going to attach it to it. If you're using like a canvas fabric for the pocket and you don't want to use interfacing, you might be able to get away with it. But interfacing is recommended, especially if you're doing like a zipper or something, so it doesn't come apart as easier. So I would do the interfacing anyway. All right, now that I've attached that interfacing as per manual instructions, you can put this zipper pocket on the outside of the bag or on the inside of the bag. If you want it on the inside, you'll put it on the liner. If you want it on the outside, you'll put it on the outer, which is what I'm going to do. And I'm gonna grab my bag and I'm gonna fold it in half. And I'm kind of giving a little bit of steam right here so I know where the half is, just a little bit, so that way when I open it, I can see it right there. And I'm gonna do the same for my pocket so I know exactly where my half is, and I can match that up. So I can put it right in the center. So there's my half of my pocket, here's my half of my bag, and I'm going to measure 2 inches down from the top. So there's my measurements. Keep it in the middle, 2 inches from the top. And I'm gonna go grab my pins because I didn't grab any. 1 second. Here's Mr. Tomato, and I'm going to pin it, and we're gonna sew the outer edge of the rectangle all the way around. So that rectangle I drew, we're gonna sew around the outer edges all the way around. So we're sewing the pocket piece to the bag. And we're gonna sew that with just a straight stitch on my sewing machine. I just lift up the presser foot, turn it around, and go the other way. Leave the needle down, lift up the presser foot, turn it around, and go the other way. Alright, as you can see, that's been sewn on. So now what I'm gonna do is, you see my little rectangles, my little triangles right here, the corners, and then that straight line. We're gonna cut right on that. We're gonna cut that straight line and those triangles. So I'm gonna, with sharp scissors, I'm gonna go in that straight line, and then I'm gonna go down the triangles close to the thread as you can, but don't cut the thread. So there's my first triangle, and then I'm gonna go all the way down that line. And then down the sides to the other triangle. And it's cut out, as you can see right there. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our fabric and we're gonna fit it right through that hole and turn it to the outside, to the inside. See right here. And we're going to steam it down. And this is the opening for our zipper. This is where we're gonna put our zipper. For my bag, I am using a canvas-like material. So it's gonna be great and stable. And so I probably will not use stabilizer on all of the different parts because I have that more stable material. But if you don't have a very stable material, if you're using like Quilt's cotton or something like that, you want to make sure that you put very good stabilizer because you want it to not come apart. And that will come in different more other steps too. All right, so now that that's folded, as you can see, I'm opening my zipper now because I hadn't even opened it yet. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my zipper and I'm going to align it. If I can ever get this off. Okay, and it's gonna get aligned right here where this hole is. You see I've got the area right here for my zipper. If you go from the back, you can really see it. Make sure you align it. You can always cut. Gotta move this up a little bit and might even steam it again so that the bottom is not showing, or unless you want it to show. Sometimes I like to do that and show the edging. That way it's like an extra little, like a ribbing almost on the inside. I mean, really it's up to you, whatever you want to do on that, about that. Okay, so now here's my zipper is centered. I want to make sure that it ends at the stopper. If you have a little bit of extra tape at the end, that's okay. We can always trim that later. It really doesn't matter. Like if you don't have the correct size zipper, if you have a longer zipper, you can always put it on there and you're gonna sew over it anyway, and then you can trim it later. No big deal. Also, if you have a shorter zipper, you can make this a little bit shorter too. You can make this hole as big or as short as your zipper is. So don't be worried and say, oh no, I don't have this exact size. You can always, like I said, go and shorten it or widen it or whatever you need to do if you wanted to make a bigger zipper hole or whatever. You can use some like wash away wonder tape or something like that for your zipper. Sometimes that makes it a little bit easier to attach a zipper. If you're a little bit worried about, you know, if your zipper is gonna move or whatever, this kind of is pretty cool because it's kind of like double-sided tape. So we can put it on there, like on your zipper, and kind of tape it to the fabric. This specific kind that I have right here is if you iron it on, it will be a permanent stick, supposedly. But there are also washaways and stuff like that. I like this one. I worked with it a lot and it's really nice. It does the job. So my zipper is centered and I'm pushing on it. I'm gonna steam it real quick so it can help stay down. If you don't have that, wonder tape or wash away tape or whatever, you can definitely just go ahead and pin it from here and it's fine. Just make sure that it's pinned straight and evenly, because now we're gonna go, once we're done doing that, we're gonna go and sew it on. So I'm gonna go ahead and pin it all the way around. All right, now let's go over to our sewing machine and sew around the whole thing to attach our zipper. All right, now that your pocket zipper is sewn, you can get rid of all those little things. Look, my pocket is almost done. I'm gonna turn it to the wrong side. I'm gonna grab, you can, if your zipper tape, like it was long, you can go ahead and trim it now. It is up to you. And then we're gonna grab our liner and put it right sides right on top of it, on top of the pocket. And then we're going to, let me grab some clips because I'd rather sew with clips than pins. And since it's gonna be the fabric, I can do this with the clips. I don't need to do the pins. Anyway, we're gonna pin it together to the pocket, the two pocket right sides together, and we're gonna sew all the way around it. I'm gonna go ahead and use my serger You can either use your serger or you can use your sewing machine. It really doesn't matter what you use. You're just gonna sew around it. Make sure that you pull it like away from the bag, so you're not sewing your bag, you're just sewing the pockets together all the way around. And then what I'm gonna do that, and at the same time I'm gonna grab my large pocket, because I'm doing large pocket too, and I'm going to sew all the way around the raw edges to finish the pocket off. You can use zigzag stitch to do that. You can do it on your serger, or you can, you know, when we get to folding, because you're gonna fold, you can do the double fold method if you don't want to finish the raw edge. It's up to you. So let me go do those two things and we'll move on. All right, just like that, our zipper pocket is done. There it is, super cute, super cool, super simple. Nothing to be scared about. You can put your phone there, whatever you want. All right, so I'm gonna put that aside and I'm gonna work on my other pocket. Now, you can go ahead and like I said earlier, oh wait, let me steam that. All right, so this is my large pocket, and this can be actually on the outer pocket, on the outer of the bag, or on the inside of the bag. It's up to you. If you want to put it like outside so you can see it, you can do that. Or if you want to put it on the inside of the bag, so it's like an inside compartment. Either way, it's interchangeable. The pockets all are. So we're gonna go ahead and grab the top of the pocket and we're gonna turn it 1/2 inch down and steam it. And then we can go ahead and hem that. Basically, top stitch it to hem it. Give it a hem. So I'm gonna do really quick over on my sewing machine. So our top line is hemmed, and then we're gonna go over on the sides and the bottom, and we're gonna turn 3/8 of an inch. You can just go ahead and basically turn what you serged or what you finished off. Just go ahead and turn that in and steam down. The great thing about sewing your own things is, again, you can in this step customize whatever you want to do. If you want the pocket to be larger, if you want the pocket to be smaller, half the size of this pocket, double the size of this pocket. Well, probably not double, because then, I don't know, will it be the size of the bag? We don't know. Anyway, but also, you can make it whatever size you want, and also you can like put a monogram on it, anything. Possibilities are endless. So now I'm folding my bag. This is my liner, because that's where I'm gonna attach mine. I'm gonna attach it to the liner and fold it in half, and I put my iron over there already, but I made a little mark with my fingers. Right there is my half. I'm gonna grab my pocket, and I'm also going to mark my half of my pocket, making sure that this is the top where I hemmed already, and I'm gonna put it right over that. Now, how far down you want it, 2-3 inches, it's up to you. If you want to look at it and kind of decide how far you wanted. I'm gonna go like 2.5 inches down from the top. That looks kind of like right where I want it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to sew around it at the sides and the bottom. Obviously the top is where your hand's gonna go in, so don't sew the top, just the sides and the bottom. Where did I put my tomato? Here it is. So we're gonna pin and sew. I should have probably done this pocket. You know, I got these pins from someone, and they're like steel pins. Tell me what they're for, because they are super thick and they're not very good with any kind of stuff that I do. So I'm sure that they're a special kind of pin for some reason. They're special for some reason. I don't know why. So I want to know. If you know what steel pins are for, they're like super thick. What are they for? What do you use them for? Let me know below. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and sew them all the way around, and I'm going to sew it with a straight stitch. I keep saying all the way around. Don't sew the top, because you want to stick your hand in there. And what I was gonna say is I probably should have used a different color fabric. I'm doing my straps red. Maybe I should have done this pocket just red itself. I don't know. This is gonna be good, but I'm just saying.
the more you do it, the like changes and everything. I'm probably gonna make a couple. I'm going on a beach vacation coming up here in the next couple of days, well, next week. And so I'm super excited about having this bag, and I might make a couple more, like make one for my sister-in-law and one for my mother-in-law. That would actually be a great idea. I shouldn't be saying that on here right now because I might not get to it, and then they'll see this video and say, where's my bag? And I'm gonna be like, I lied, I did not make one. But maybe I will if I make it on time. If not, maybe for Christmas. Great Christmas present. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and sew that and we'll move on. All right, remember at the beginning and at the end of your pocket, you want to go ahead and go back and forth to secure that pocket so it doesn't just come apart later on when you pull on it or your kid pulls on it. While you're at this step, you can measure your pocket if you want to divide your pocket into different sections, like for like a straight section to put like your phone, or a big section to put like diaper bag if you like your wipes. You want to make it this way, whatever. This is up to you, and this is where you would want to go ahead and do that now, because it's easier to sew it on now, fix it now, than it is once it's all sewn together. I don't have anything in particular that I'm trying to figure out, so I'm just gonna go my middle part where my center is, or where I think my center is, and I'm just gonna do a middle pocket, so it's gonna have two sides. Alrighty, here's my pocket. See, it's got two big pockets on there, but if you wanted to make like skinny pockets, whatever, it's up to you, you can do that. Now for our straps. Okay, so I've got my straps right here, and if you folded your, if you cut your straps on the fold, then you can skip this step, but I cut mine for straps not on the fold because my fabric wasn't wide enough. And I'm going to go ahead and grab them right sides together at that raw edge, one raw edge, and sew them together, sew a line, sew them together. First, I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quickly over at my serger, my sewing machine. All right, so that's been sewn, and now we're gonna go ahead and open them and steam that seam allowance open. All right, now you can do this now, but you probably want to do it after you put the interfacing. It is recommended that you use interfacing on the straps to help them keep their shape and not to rip open or whatever. So you want to go ahead and attach that interfacing now to the wrong side of your strap. I am not adding interfacing to mine because it's a little bit heavier fabric and because I'm stubborn. And so what I'm gonna do is now, once that's done, you can go to your sewing machine and reinforce your straps themselves by sewing two straight stitches right next to the sides, like two right here and two right here, to keep it together so it doesn't tear apart when you're holding it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm wondering if I should do it with red. I don't want to change my thread, but maybe I should. I might change my top thread and just do red at the top. So I'm gonna just do two lines right next to that seam line right there on one side, and then two on the other side, because that reinforces it so it doesn't just pull apart, you know, just easier. It will be super easy for it to come apart if you don't do that. Alright, once that's done, we're going to go ahead and grab our strap and fold it right sides together at that long raw edge all the way, and we're going to sew that together all the way to create my strap. If you did not if you did cut on the fold, this is your next step. You would go ahead and fold it. You wouldn't have this seam right here. You would just go straight down. And also with if you're using a lighter weight fabric, you want to put some interfacing in there. So you want to steam some interfacing to the wrong side of the strap. Alright, so now that my strap is all the way sewn, we can use any kind of turning tool or safety pin or whatever you want to turn your strap right side out. I'm using one of these loop turners, I think it's called. We do have a video on our YouTube channel too. I'll try to attach the link above that talks about different turning tools if you want to try different turning tools, but that one seems to work well for me. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna grab my straps, I'm gonna put them on my mat, and I'm gonna face that seam up, and I'm gonna steam it straight down so that that seam is facing up. And then once we sew it to the bag, we'll sew it this way so that way you can't even see that seam. Now we're gonna grab our bag and we're gonna position it just so. And we're gonna grab our strap and we're gonna put it so that the seam is touching the right side of the bag. That way you won't be able to see that later. But first, before we do that, let's go ahead and clip this pocket together if you have that zipper pocket, so that it doesn't get caught on the straps. And if you have the big pocket on here, the straps will be sewn right on the sides, right on the edge of the pocket. And then you want to go ahead and grab your straps and line them up. Now you can line them up like right at the outer edge of that zipper pocket. So there's lined up. Here we are. Sorry. Probably need to grab my pins. Okay. And we're gonna go all the way up. Tomato's trying to run away. We're gonna go up. Straight up. And then we're gonna stop at about 1 inch away from the top edge. So we're gonna pin them and stop pinning 1 inch away from the top. And then we're coming around the other way. You want to make sure that they're even on the other side as well. So depending on how far out the edge you put them, you want to measure how far. I did about 1.25 inches from the edge, so 1.25 inches from the other edge. You do like 1.5 inches. And I'm pinning all the way up. And we're going to do the same for the other side. So you want to make sure that you also, put it exactly in the same spot that you put the other side. You don't want to have one bag be one side of the bag be closer and one side be wider. So you can go ahead and mark that. All right, so here it is, my one side. And I'm gonna do the exact same thing for the other side. All right, now that our straps are sewn together, we're gonna grab our bags, our outers, and we're gonna put them right sides together. And we're going to sew those side seams together. And then our bottom seams together as well. Matching up those straps. They should be, if you measured and everything, they should be lining up correctly. Now when I go to sew it, I'm gonna make sure I run over my straps a couple of times back and forth so that they be reinforced. With our liner, we're gonna do the exact same thing. We're gonna sew our sides, right sides together like we're doing the outer. And you don't have to do them both at the same time, but I figured go ahead while I'm over there on the sewing machine to go ahead and do them at the same time. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna sew them with my sewing machine, and then I'm gonna go back to my serger and finish off the edges. You don't have to do that. You can just sew it one swoop. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna do it with my serger because it's gonna be lined. You won't even be seeing that seam. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do it on my serger. And then at the bottom of the liner, what we're going to do is we're gonna sew that, but we're gonna leave a gap right here, like a 4-inch gap, where we're going to turn our bag around once we put it together. So let's go ahead and sew that up. Again, I'm gonna do it on my serger now instead of doing it on the, but you can do it either one. What should I do it on? Serger? Yeah. Alright, so now once we've already done the bottom and the sides, we've got this corner here. We're gonna grab it and open it up just like so, and we're gonna sew it, matching up those seams right there. And I'm gonna do that for the liner and the outer. While I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and make little straps for my bag. So I cut two strips 2 by 10, and I'm gonna sew them right sides together here. You can use any kind of ribbon, you can use just magnetic enclosures, you can use whatever you wanna use to close your bag, but I'm gonna do the ties. So I'm gonna go ahead and prep those. All right, here's our liner. Here's our outer. We're almost done. I'm gonna grab the strap. I'm gonna turn it right side out. So for enclosures, did I already say this? You can really use anything you wanna use for enclosures. You don't even have to put enclosures if you don't want to. I'm just doing the ties because that's just easy and because I have them in hand, but you can use the magnetic enclosures or whatever you want to do with that. We do have instructions on our pattern on how to attach those if that's what you want to do. All right, y'all, so I should have sewn that straight into the side, so sewn one down. I didn't. So what I'll do later is I'll just fold it down and fold it down again and just stitch it to close it. But if you do it the other way, it's much easier. You don't have to do the fold down thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my strap right here at the top edge of my bag, and I'm just gonna go ahead and face right sides together, and I'm going to just baste it onto my bag, and you want it right in the middle. Baste it on. Once it's basted on, if you're not doing the magnetic enclosure or anything like that, we can go ahead and put our bags together by grabbing our outer and our liner and placing them right side into each other. Now make sure right here at this step, if you want your inside pocket to be on the other side from the front pocket, then because I want my inside pocket to be like on the back of the bag, which will be this side, and my zipper pocket will be my front of the bag, if that makes sense. And what we're gonna do is we're going to pin them here at the raw edges and sew all the way around. Making sure your straps are securely inside and you're not gonna catch them on here. The only strap that you should be catching is your little tie that we just put in there, that we just basted. Well, yes, go baste it so it doesn't fall into the bag and then you lose it like I might end up doing. Now this part you can also do with your sewing machine or your serger. It is up to you. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to find that gap we left on our liner right there, and we're going to carefully turn our bag right side out. How adorable is this already? So cool. It's looking amazing. Here it is. Here is my zipper pocket right here and everything. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and along this, well, first of all, this gap that is right here, we're gonna fold it, that seam allowance, gonna fold it in, and then you're gonna stitch that closed, and you can use whatever kind of stitch method you would like. I'm just gonna top stitch it because it's the liner and nobody's gonna see it very much. And so I'm just gonna go over to my sewing machine and top stitch it closed. And then while I'm over there, we're gonna go ahead and top stitch the top edge of your bag. So I'm gonna get my iron. And I'm going to steam my bag. And then I'm gonna go back and top stitch. Now, you all know that I like a little bit of trim. So because I did mine with a coordinating color, what I'm doing is I'm going to leave a little ledge. That means that my lining would be a little bit smaller than my outer. So I mean, like, if you were really, really technical and you wanted to go inside and look at it and be like, well, your liner, yes, 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 yes. But I like the look of like the little trim at the top, so that's why I'm kind of letting it spill out of the top. I think it gives it a cute little look. You do not have to do that. If you did not want to do that, you can just fold it all the way in, and that will be just fine. But I like to have like the little edge right there peeking out. It's about 1/2 inch is what I'm doing, which is just really like my seam allowance. It's basically I'm pulling my seam allowance up. And then I'm gonna go back to my sewing machine and sew that gap closed. And while I'm at it, top stitch that raw edge of my bag. The strap should be facing away from the bag, so I'll have it up like that when I'm sewing it through. And this other strap is gonna go down because we're gonna sew this one up after. All right, now to finish up my straps, I'm gonna go ahead and, you know what I didn't do? That was dumb. When you're sewing this on, you can keep going all the way around instead of stopping like I did, so that way it's top stitched all the way around. I don't know why I stopped and went around. If you were watching the video, that part, and were like, why is she doing that? I don't know. Don't ask me. I never know why I do the things I do sometimes. But I might go back and top stitch the whole rest of the thing, so I don't know why I did that. Anyway, to finish this strap, we're gonna go, I'm gonna do like 2 inches from the top. Here's 2 inches. I'm using a water soluble marker so that it'll come off. And I'm gonna mark it, and we're gonna go all the way around like a, what do you call it? Square. And then we'll crisscross and go across, and this is my middle of my thing, if that makes any sense. So 2 inches from the top, and there is my square, and then I want to find the middle, my middle, which obviously would be 1 inch off of the edge. There's the middle for the X. And then I'm gonna do the same for the other ones. There it is. Hopefully that water soluble marker really will come off. And I'm gonna go ahead and do it to the other ones as well, and we'll be done. All right, we are done. How cute is this with a little strap in the zipper pocket to place all your valuables in, and the cute inside pocket. Again, the really cool thing about this is that you can customize it to put them wherever you want to. If you put it in the back, you want to put it in the front, you want to line it with pockets all around, it's up to you because you're making it. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please comment, like, share, subscribe if you haven't. Please come find us on Facebook and Instagram when we have an awesome community. You can share your makes and we can be inspired by you, and you can be inspired by other sewists who are sharing their makes. And then also go find the link below and go grab your pattern, come back and sew it with me, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!